One might expect to find a collection like this of rare artifacts from South Carolina history in a museum, but these items are located in the home of John Johnson of Columbia. He has been collecting these important pieces not to sell, but to preserve them for future generations. His family roots in South Carolina run deep, related to such people as John M. Roberts, who established the High Hills Church in Sumter over 200 years ago, and John Lyde Wilson, the 49th governor of South Carolina. A home in Society Hill has been in the family for over 100 years. This kind of family history has become very important to John Johnson.
I'm pretty much the first generation that was born outside of South Carolina. My family has been here since 1694. I just had an interest in collecting things because of my family history here. And one thing led to another, and my mom passed away about 10 years ago. And I realized then, how important it was to her. So I think that you have this tradition, I guess, of just having something that's valuable to you because it belonged to your family. And at some point in life, I think if you have anything else to fall back on, that's your family. And it's nice to have a piece that most people don't.
John Johnson started donating some of his collection to the governor's mansion, including a portrait of former Governor Strom Thurmond, unique porcelain china, and some South Carolina coined silver. But a recent discovery was very important to Mr. Johnson. He found a rare snuff box made from the HMS Resolute, something that is not only part of South Carolina history, but has an important family connection. The HMS Resolute was a mid-19th century British sailing ship that was trapped in the ice during an Arctic expedition and abandoned in 1854. A year later, an American whaler found the Resolute adrift in northern Canada. The American government decided to restore the Resolute and return it to England as a gesture of national courtesy, a noteworthy and historic action since it had only been 79 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the Revolutionary War. The man who returned the Resolute to England and presented it to Queen Victoria was Commander Henry J. Hartstein, a South Carolinian and relative of John Johnson. In appreciation of such a gesture, the Queen gave the President of the United States a desk made from the HMS Resolute, now called the Resolute Desk, which many presidents have used, including John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan. It still resides in the Oval Office today. John Johnson feels that such a rare and important historical item as the snuff box, also made from the HMS Resolute, belongs to the people of South Carolina. Rather than simply sell it, he wants it in the South Carolina governor's mansion.
On this 19th day of November 2014, the ancestors of Captain Henry J. Hartstein donate this national treasure to the South Carolina governor's mansion. This will become a valuable item to display for all South Carolina citizens, as well as the many visitors of the governor's mansion.
I wish my mom had been alive. I know that's something that she would have just been thrilled about because she thought so much of him. She grew up hearing about him. I'm simply donating it for the purpose of South Carolina and the United States. I mean, it's something that I think is important. It needs to be here in our state. Because he was from our state.
John Johnson has been one of our most generous and most frequent donors for the past 25 years. He's been very, very interested in the governor's mansion, and he is a walking history book. He knows so much about South Carolina and the important pieces in our state, and he's been very, very nice to share with us.
John Johnson also has donated money for benches that are in the gardens of the governor's mansion, with plaques dedicated to Captain Henry J. Hartstein, commander of the HMS Resolute on her return voyage to England, and to Mr. Johnson's mother, Florence Byrne Johnson. And he's not finished with his donations.
Well, we're so lucky because John thinks so much of the South Carolina Governor's Mansion, and he thinks that his treasures really do belong here. They reflect our culture and our history. and they're very important pieces that should be shown, I think, in the governor's mansion.
I think it's important when people come there to be able to see these things, particularly the snuff box. If you walk by a cabinet and there it sits, and someone tells you, that's from a ship, and there was a South Carolinian that actually was captain of that ship, and it's in all the history books, but no one knows about it. That's special, I think.